We are back for UFC 308 Ilia Topuria vs Max Holloway for the featherweight title of the world. And this card is just stacked with a lot of great fights. Many people are hyped up and excited for this card, and a lot more channels than normal made predictions for this event. So let's find out which fighters are picked the most by the UFC YouTube prediction channels. The opener for this card is a fight in the welterweight division between the 33-year-old Russian Rinat Fakhretdinov versus the 30-year-old Carlos Leal from Brazil. And Rinat Fakhretdinov is the pretty big favorite with minus 255 in average odds, and Leal is the underdog with around plus 200 in odds. Although Rinat isn't such a big favorite in odds, most of the apology community predict him to win, and most think he will win via a decision. And also, most of the YouTube prediction channels picked Rinat Fakhretdinov to win this match. 40 out of 44 or 91% picked him. And only 4 out of 44 or 9% picked Carlos. Of the best predictions channels, with a plus 5% return of investment over the last few months, 5 out of 6 predict Rinat to win, and only 1 out of 6 picked Carlos. So it looks like the Topology community and the YouTube predictions channels are a bit more pessimistic about Carlos Leal winning than the odds makers. Next is a fight in the middleweight division between Bruno Silva from Brazil, who's 35 years old, and the 28 years old Ismail Naurdiev from Morocco. Bruno Silva is the underdog with plus 142, and the favorite is Ismail with minus 172. Although the odds makers have Ismail as the favorite, the Topology community disagrees, and only 42% have picked him to win this fight, and 58% is for Bruno Silva. Most think this fight will go to a decision. But most of the UFC prediction channels disagree with the picks from the Topology community. Ismail is picked more than Bruno Silva. 30 out of 55 pick Ismail to win for 55%, and 25 out of 55 or 45% pick Bruno Silva to win. And 4 out of 7 of the best predictors think Bruno Silva wins this fight, and 3 out of 7 think Ismail wins this fight. So, who will be right? The Topology community, the YouTube prediction channels, or the odds makers? We'll find out this Saturday. And next we have a fight in the bantamweight division between Farid Basharat from Afghanistan, who's 27 years old, versus the Brazilian Victor Hugo, who's 31 years old. And Farid is one of the biggest favorites on this card with almost minus 700 in average odds. And his opponent Victor is a big underdog with plus 472 in average odds. Farid is also a big favorite in picks from the Topology community. 91% predict him to win versus 9% for Hugo. And most think this fight will end via a decision. And the YouTube prediction channels also agree. 55 out of 57 pick Farid Basharat to win for 96%, and only 2 channels pick Victor Hugo to win, Lucas Tracy MMA and Once Upon a Slugfest. So yeah, this looks to be a pretty rough night for Victor Hugo. If you enjoy the content and find it helpful and informative, then don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much. Next up is a match in the heavyweight division between the 32 years old Kennedy Nzechukwu from Nigeria and the 38-year-old Chris Barnett from the USA. And Kennedy is a huge favorite with minus 705 in average odds, making him the biggest favorite of this card. His opponent Chris Barnett has plus 476 and is a huge underdog. But for some reason, even though he is the biggest favorite, only 70% of the Topology community pick Kennedy to win, and Chris Barnett gets 30% even though he's such a big underdog. But the YouTube predictions channels have Kennedy as a massive favorite again. 50 out of 54 or 93% pick Kennedy to win, and only 4 channels predict Chris Barnett to win this match for 7%. The next match is in the middleweight division between the 30-year-old Abus Magomedov from Germany and the 31-year-old Bruno Ferreira from Brazil. In odds, this fight is a pretty close one. Abus Magomedov is the favorite with minus 146 in average odds, and Bruno Ferreira is a slight underdog with plus 121 in odds. And here, again, the Topology community disagree with the odds makers. Ferreira is the big favorite here with 68% of the picks for him, and most see him winning by KO or TKO, and 32% of the picks are for Magomedov. But the UFC YouTube prediction channels agree again with the odds makers. 36 out of 58 pick Abus Magomedov to win, or 62%, and 22 out of 58 or 38% picked Bruno Ferreira to win. And 6 out of 8 of the best predictors also picked Magomedov to win, and 2 out of 8 picked Bruno. Next up, we have a fight in the lightweight division between the 26-year-old Myktybek Orolbai from Kyrgyzstan and the 32-year-old Mateusz Rębecki from Poland. Orolbai is a pretty big favorite with minus 328 in average odds, and Mateusz Rębecki is the underdog with plus 247. 89% of the Topology community predict Orolbai to win this fight, and most think via a decision, and only 11% pick Mateusz. And Orolbai is also a very big favorite in picks from the YouTube prediction channels. 53 out of 59 or 90% pick him to win, and only 6 out of 59 or 10% predict Mateusz to win. So yeah, not so many people are very confident in Mateusz to win this fight. The next match is another lightweight match between the veterans Geoff, who's 34 years old from the United States, and Raffael dos Anjos from Brazil, who is 40 years old. And Geoff is the favorite with minus 306 in average odds versus Raffael, who has plus 237 and is the underdog. And Geoff is also a really big favorite in picks from the Topology community. 89% predict him to win, and if he wins it will be via KO TKO or via a decision. And the prediction channels on YouTube also agree. 56 out of 62 predict Geoff to win, or 90%, and only 6 out of those 62 predict Raffael dos Anjos to win, for 10%. Then, in the light heavyweight division, we have a fight between the 28-year-old Ibo Aslan from Turkey and the 34-year-old Rafael Cerqueira from Brazil. And Rafael is a tiny favorite with minus 117 in odds versus Ibo with minus 106. But the Topology community highly disagrees with the odds makers. 80% predict Aslan to win this match via KO or TKO, and only 20% predict Raffael to win. Also, the YouTube predictions channels have Aslan as the favorite. 35 out of 53 or 66% think he will win this match, and only 18 out of 53 or 34% pick Raffael to win. And from the best predictors, 5 out of 7 pick Aslan and 2 out of 7 pick Raffael. The opening fight of the main card is a fight in the middleweight division between the 30-year-old Russian Shara Magomedov and the 33-year-old Armenian Armen Petrosyan. Shara Magomedov is the slight favorite with minus 167 in average odds, and Armen Petrosyan has plus 136. But Shara Magomedov is a huge favorite in picks by the Topology community. 84% predict him to win and that he wins via decision, and only 16% pick Armen Petrosyan. In picks by the YouTube prediction channels, Shara Magomedov is also the favorite, with 47 channels out of 63 picking him to win, or 75%, and 16 out of 63 or 25% pick Armen to win. If you are enjoying the content and want to support the channel, I've just launched a Patreon page. As a member, you'll get exclusive daily updates on the latest fight predictions and stats that didn't make it into my YouTube preview video, including daily updates on picks. Stay on top of the latest picks from UFC prediction channels and the top UFC predictors on YouTube. Keep up with how the average betting odds are shifting day by day. And daily updated stats from the Topology community picks. Your support helps me to keep creating content, so check it out if you're interested. Up next is a match in the featherweight division between the 33-year-old Lerone Murphy from England and Dan Ige, who is also 33 years old and is from the United States. Lerone Murphy is the favorite with minus 285 and Ige has 223 in odds. And 80% of the Tapology community predict Murphy to win this match via a decision and only 20% pick Dan Ige. And the YouTube prediction channels agree with the odds makers and the Tapology community. 55 out of 65 channels predict Lerone Murphy to win. And only 10 out of 65 predict Dan Ige to win. And all of the best predictors pick Lerone Murphy to win this match. Up next, we have a fight in the light heavyweight division between the 32-year-old Magomedov Ankalaev from Russia and the 32-year-old Alexander Rakic from Serbia. In average odds, Magomedov Ankalaev is a big favorite with minus 384 and Alexander has 289 and is the underdog. 80% of the Tapology community pick Magomedov Ankalaev to win, and most think it will be via decision and around 30% predict it will be via KO TKO. But Ankalaev is even a bigger favorite in picks by the UFC Prediction Channels. 62 out of 67 or 93% predict Ankalaev to win this match, and only 5 out of those 67 channels predict Alexander Rakic to win this match, or 7%. And then, for the co-main event of the evening, we have a fight in the middleweight division for 5 rounds between the 33-year-old Robert Whittaker from Australia and the 30-year-old Khamzat Chimaev from United Arab Emirates. In odds, Khamzat Chimaev is the favorite with minus 259 versus Robert Whittaker, who is the underdog with plus 202 in average odds. And in picks from the Tapology community, this fight is very close and is basically a coin flip. 51% predict Whittaker to win and 49% predict Chimaev to win. If Whittaker wins, it will be via a KO, TKO or decision, and if Chimaev wins, most think it will come via a submission. And this fight is also very close in picks from the YouTube prediction channels. 34 out of 66 predict Robert Whittaker to win, or 52%, and 32 out of 66 for 48% pick Khamzat Chimaev to win. But when we look at the best predictors, 5 out of 8 pick Khamzat Chimaev and 3 out of 8 are picking Robert Whittaker to win. So, in odds, Khamzat Chimaev is the favorite, but in picks from the Tapology community as well as the YouTube prediction channels, it's very close. And then, for the main event of the evening, we have a fight for the world title in the featherweight division between the 27-year-old from Spain, Ilia Topuria, and the 32-year-old Max Holloway from the United States. Ilia Topuria is the favorite with minus 260 in average odds and Max Holloway has 205. 60% of the Tapology community predict Topuria to win, and if he wins, most think it will be via a KO TKO or via decision. And 40% predict Max Holloway to win, and most think it will be via decision. And from the YouTube prediction channels, 44 out of 67 or 66% predict Ilia Topuria to win, and 23 out of 67 predict that Max Holloway will win, or 34%. That was it for all the predictions for all fights on this card. Let us know your picks in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, then hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more. Want to support the channel? Then you can join my Patreon for exclusive updates on every UFC card. Thanks for watching, enjoy the fights and see you next time.